Hi, everybody. Is that a good start already?
Take two.
Yo. Take two as it is. Welcome back to the podcast. All right. How is everyone? I hope you guys are doing really good. So we're wearing yellow because we're wearing yellow because we're still in the spirits of the FIFA Women's World Cup, guys. And we are representing Australia. All right.
But unfortunately, guys, we seem to be jinxing whoever
No, it's not
we're wearing or
us.
supporting.
A lot of friends wore the
I know. It just so happened
jersey.
that when we started wearing Japan jerseys, they lost, as we spoke about it during the last episode.
Yes.
And then here you go. Look, I've owned this jacket for like 5 years now.
Yep. And I bought and I asked Ruel to buy this jersey specifically just because we wanted to actually cheer the Matildas on during the semifinals. But
unfortunately, they lost against the Lionesses of England.
Yep. And again, I think it's probably not their time yet, but they did really well considering they've come a long way. We are so proud.
We were shouting our lungs out when they scored that goal.
Exactly. But then, you know what?
At the same time, heartbroken 3 times when they got scored against.
Yep. But anyway, enough of that. What is the topic today, lovely?
So our topic for today is something different. Something, I don't know, educational.
Education. Are you willing to discuss this then?
It's actually a good skill to have, especially if you're working in an English speaking country.
Yeah, true.
Or just anywhere in general.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I guess that I think you can get something out of this, guys.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to pass that message on, relay that to our listeners, also to our viewers in the podcast, in our YouTube channel. So please.
So it's gonna be, sorry to cut you up, but it's gonna be the reason why you had to score 6.5 or 7 in your English IELTS test.
Yeah, if you're coming from an international background or non-English speaking background, you would understand why we have to go through English exams because we need to pass that in order to us to show that we are able to communicate.
Exactly.
Able to communicate to our listeners, to our to the people
Clients,
that
people we work with.
Exactly, and especially if we're working here in Australia. Yeah.
So we're gonna be talking about a social skill.
Yep.
Like small talk or short talk.
Okay. So what are the benefits of small talk?
How good are you at it?
What do you think?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm a chatty person. Of
Okay,
course
good on you.
If it's not so evident just yet, guys.
I was really struggling with this to begin with when we moved here.
Really?
Yeah. Only because at the back of my head, I have to translate things to a second language before spitting it out, basically.
Yeah, and you don't want to come off like offensive or you don't want to get misinterpreted because you are speaking in different, like the way, like
different
how,
accent, different tone. You don't want to come out aggressive, as you were saying.
Yeah.
You have to be sensitive as to how they deliver their words or their statements as per the culture that they're in.
And I think same, like professionally, I have to maintain a formal boundaries. I can only, like, this is me, right? I feel like I can only tell jokes to the people that knows me at work.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
Like, Filipino humor is
totally
not
different.
Directly, I don't know, does not directly translate to the English humor. Because sometimes we try to translate the words to English when we make a joke in our own dialect.
Yep.
And from our end, it is really funny, but then the way it comes out or the way they comprehend what you said didn't come out the right way, so it meant nothing really.
But you know how humorous Filipinos is as well. They don't even care like if it's funny or not. They will just deliver it.
But still, like, you don't want to have that awkward silence for people not getting what what the joke was. It like,
Yeah, I know.
like crickets everywhere. I think I have a cricket joke in here. Do I? No, I don't. Oh yeah, I do. It's like you don't want this background sound after you've said a joke.
True. Like you don't understand what the hell you're talking about.
What makes you good at it though?
Look, again, to begin with, I think I want to establish rapport. So I want to get to know this person, especially at work, or not even just get to know a specific person, especially patients. Like having small talks with them, like make you sound engaging and
Yeah.
you're interested in their stories, which I am.
Yep.
And technically, like you are, like in my line of work in dialysis, you look after chronic patients who get to go to dialysis 3 times a week, and you get to see them every time, and you get to find things that you talk about, like something
Yeah.
that interests them, rather than just like, talk about your day. That's being selfish, isn't it?
Well, I guess it's kind of different if you're like used to them. But if you're new, like you got no close to what their preferences are,
Yep.
like what they like, what they don't, how they are, like especially adjusting to a new workplace.
Yeah.
I'm always like reserved, like hesitant to crack a joke or to like not engage conversation, but I'm just trying to be careful, not to like, I don't know, overstep
Yeah.
that
True.
boundary, especially that they don't know me that well as
Yep. And they're new, you're very
exactly.
new, you're very
But
fresh
then
out of the box, and like you just, you're kind of strange yet, so you're just getting the feel.
Yeah. Like
out of
I'm
the
not sure
atmosphere.
when to jump into this conversation that they're having. Is like what would be the appropriate word to say, like to just to butt in a little bit, even though you got no clue what's going on,
But
just so
for
you
me,
can say something
like,
and be part of that
for
conversation.
me, silence is like if because I'm new, right? We're both new to our workplace. Like, they've got things that they talk about, so you just kind of smile and like try to
No.
join into the conversation a little bit, but not a lot. So I tend to be quiet until I get asked to say something.
Yeah.
But this is one good thing that I like about the Australians, and I think I'm not sure if it's like also common in America as well, or in England, because I haven't been. But yeah, like Australians, every time we greet each other, like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah.
It's like nice conversation starter to begin with, because it's like,
It's like, but then, sorry to cut you off. Every time you ask that question, you can't expect them to tell you how they're really feeling, because that's gonna be awkward. Can you imagine? It's like, hey man, how's it going? And then they'll respond to you like, you know what? Actually, I'm not doing pretty well. It's like I had this problem at home. I was like, how are you gonna react to that?
That's so true.
So I usually just get another, hey, yeah, good. What's up? So
okay.
you don't want to be, and anyway, although it just comes out of your mouth naturally, you don't want to be in that situation where someone actually talks.
Tells you something sensitive, and you are just like insensitive about it. And I'm like, because sometimes you also get that feel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experience this, but I've experienced this a lot. Like they would just ask you, especially in fast food chains, you would ask them, hey, how are you? How's it going? But they don't give eye contact. They just like saying it just for the, just for the.
Well, I bet unknowingly we're doing that as well.
Yeah, I think so too. But I guess like this comes with experience for me. If someone like tells me their like sensitive issues or their life, their mental problems, or like the things that they mentally go through, I just say like, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way. So you get to, because in our line of work, you get to I get to actually encounter that a lot. So you get to have a lot of practice as well. And those are like kind of case sensitive or like situation sensitive kind of scenarios that you have to be a bit, reserved with what you're saying as well when it comes to small talk, because you don't want to come off like your life is so happy, you're living your best life, and then this person is actually going through something. And yeah, you just have to say the right words.
How do you practice that though? Or do you practice it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. Like I I don't show like the real loud, funny, extroverted Sheila just yet to everyone during their first meeting.
But what I meant was like, do you practice these common phrases or common words, or do you just pick up bits and pieces from people having conversations?
I guess from experience,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, because working in ED, you get to encounter a lot of mental health patients, and they are really battling with mental health, and you just you want to acknowledge that they're going through something, but you don't want to come off as well like, hey, I don't like to listen to your story. It's not that. You being as a professional, you're there to actually support them, and then hearing their problems, making sure that they're being heard, and you escalate that. But I'm not really good at it. Again, it's coming from experience. I just know what to say, but sometimes if I don't know what to say, silence is a really good for me answer, because like they just want you to listen. Does that make sense?
No, I didn't get it.
You didn't get it. Like, because, like, say, for example, you're telling me how your day was. Like, you're going through your problems. You're probably going through divorce or something like that. I would say.
No, I mean, how do you practice that though?
What
Like,
do you mean?
like those like small acknowledging words, like just those
Yeah.
small buttons.
Again, like, comes
Just
with
from encounters that you're having at those.
encounters
Okay.
and some experience. You in our line of work, you really gotta be professional. In healthcare, you gotta be professional. You just don't like dismiss people, especially when they're telling you their life stories. I know it's kind of hard having that boundaries, but like being professional, you have to have that boundaries within yourself. Like you have your personal life and you have your professional life, so it comes with practice. Really, it's hard for me to say like, hey, you say this because this is actually helping. I can't say that. Sometimes I don't know what to say in certain situations, especially when it comes to mental health. But sometimes if I feel like I can tell something, like, look, I don't get them to say everything that they're going through, especially people who's got, like self-harm intentions and all that sorts. But if you're just there to listen to them, I think that's also like, we're getting more serious. I feel like I'm beating around the bush here. You gotta help me out.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lead you towards something else. So,
What is?
what sort of conversations do you usually start with? Like topics, good topics, to initiate short conversations.
I introduce myself.
That's all. Like, what do you do, like, to practice it or to prepare yourself for it? Because from my end, what I usually do is, I read a lot of current events. So at least when they talk about it at work with my workmates, like, I can butt in, I can join, like I can put my 2 cents in it. And then if not, like same as what we're doing recently, we're following the World Cup, which Women's World Cup, which everyone is kind of hooked into it. So we follow that. We initiate small conversations from work out of it. So it's kind of just a fun bantering at work as to who you're rooting for and what happened. So I find it very beneficial to read, even just Google News. Or just flick in the news for at least like 30 minutes a day, and then you pick up a lot of current event stuff. Like something that you will learn. Because what I've noticed is in my current workplace that people travel a lot, which made me think like, what have I been doing with my life? It's like they've all been to this different countries, experienced a lot of things, and here we are.
We're working our asses
we're
off.
working our asses off just to pay bills, and I don't know.
Well, hence the move, right?
I know, but
that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to live our best life as well.
If there's one thing that I would change from my life experience or what I did my like previous years, I would have probably traveled more, so I got more stories to tell. Like whenever people talk about a place that they've been to, at least I can butt in. Oh yeah, the food in there is very nice. Like I've been to this spot in that place. It was really breathtaking. So yeah, those kind of things.
At the end of the day, you're still young.
I know.
There is
I know.
There is that, and like
no, like 30 plus is not young anymore.
No, but you still can achieve more. So you don't have to limit yourself when it comes to that. And
how about you?
Good on you for doing that, because I noticed that you like current affairs. Like my papa likes that. Like he's into current affairs. I don't usually like you.
Because you only listen to Tulfo.
Not to Tulfo. I listen to some things that will make me happy, just so I can find like a balance at work as well. Because if I feel grumpy, then my work or the outcome of my day would be ruined. So I'd rather be happy and go to work happy, rather than just like be this negative, this anxious, this overwhelmed girl who's presenting herself to work and then like not actually doing anything. So that's me. But then again, you mentioned that we're into the FIFA World Cup. So that's one thing that I can find in common that we can talk about. And luckily enough, some of the ladies in my new workplace actually are a fan. So we had that bit of banter. But then if they're talking about something else that, how they're very familiar and they're very like friends at work already, and they've got that relationship, and the things that they talk about, like personally, I can't even interact with that. So I just like smile and I keep silence. I just eat my food. That's it.
Yeah.
But then if they ask me, then that's it. Like if they ask me like, what's your experience? Then I'm answering, yeah.
But if you notice the way they converse with each other, it's like people having English as their first language. They don't seem to actually be paying attention to what the other one is saying. Oftentimes they're not. But then they're giving out these small like words to acknowledge that whatever they've mentioned, to make seem that they were paying attention or they were in awe of what the other one was talking about. They were doing this earlier at work. I don't know. It's like even just the phrase, "Oh, really? Okay, that's amazing." Blah blah blah. Those kind of phrases, right? Like, they're really good. They're really good in doing it.
Yep.
It's just that if I was gonna be doing it, like
it doesn't sound convincing.
It doesn't sound convincing. It's probably because I don't practice it a lot. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
I kind of practice that though. Like,
okay.
I said, oh really? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm not really good in saying those kind of phrases.
Yep.
That's why sometimes I'll just look it up to what would be usual like random phrases that you can say to acknowledge someone or to appreciate someone else's experience.
Right.
Look, guys, especially coming from a non-English speaking country to begin with, it's kind of easier for us to do this in our own dialect when we converse to people who speak the same language. But then moving here, like in an English speaking country, I think that's where the English exams comes in to make sure we're able to converse.
Yep.
Because especially working as healthcare professionals, where handovers is a big thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So you make sure you need to be understood. You can converse.
And communication is key.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just moving along, what are your like usual topics at work? If you don't have anything else to say, or you can't relate with anything, what do you think would be like the most common one that everyone would use?
Like for me, I would ask their personal life.
Oh,
like,
that's quite.
Well, not really personal. Like, so how long have you been working here?
Oh, okay.
So something that's like still work related, but then you're actually gauging that person as well into like their work experience.
But you can only use that so much for people that you see like 3-4 times a week, though.
Yeah, true. But then if you get to know these people, like if you worked with them for quite a long time,
true. At least follow up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, to be honest, it's not like the people that I work with, we always talk about some things that are similar to us or something that we find something in common with. So those are the things that kind of interest us. But to those that are not, like, I don't talk a lot at work, that it means we don't really have a lot in common. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess my fallback option with this kind of short conversation is the weather. Although as much as possible, I try to avoid.
Remember the podcast that we did with Kevin? It's not really helping when you're asking about the weather.
I know, it's like, it's my fallback. I think a lot of guys are having the weather conversation as their fallback option if they don't have anything else to talk about. Especially like if everyone's in the room busy prepping, like for us, our meds. It's like, and then no one's talking and no one, like, there's no background music playing. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, what do you think about the weather? Oh, it's gonna be sunny tomorrow. It's like, oh, we're going to the beach. It's like,
yeah, it's something that you can use.
Yeah, by default, that's gonna be. But I try my best to avoid it, initiating about weather talks.
Yeah,
because from what I've read or from what I've heard, like, I don't know, just about conversing with people, try to avoid the weather talk because it's the last thing you want to talk about. Exactly. It just means that you don't have anything else to talk about.
Yep. But then again, if you just appreciate the weather, oh, look at the weather outside. It's so nice.
Yeah.
It's a different story. You're not saying like, hey, it's going to be sunny today. Oh, what's the weather like? But another fallback would be like finding something that they're interested in. Like, say, for example, you're also being culturally like sensitive, like you're talking to someone from a cultural cultural background, so you talk something that they can understand. And like for us Filipinos,
what do you mean?
Like they know about adobo, so you can talk about adobo. Like, hey, remember the other day you cooked adobo and I brought that at work? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm eating something. I'm like, oh, that smells nice.
Aromatic.
Yeah, aromatic. I'm like, have you eaten adobo? Oh no, but it's a similar smell from a Vietnamese because
really?
he's coming from a Vietnamese background.
Okay.
Like he's saying, oh, it's a Vietnamese recipe as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's nice. So that's something that we talk about. It's not like silence all throughout to break.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can remember from my work this morning was they were talking about their plan of going to Europe. And this particular workmate of mine had been to that country, and she was suggesting what food to eat, where to go, and that she had a blast when she went there. And there were nude beaches everywhere, and that's something that you must try at least once in your life, especially in a foreign country, because like no one else would bother, no one would know you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like,
no, not that confident.
Like, not even in my wildest dreams. Like she was like, oh, it doesn't matter like what your body shape is. Just do it. Like no one would care. It's like, I would.
True.
I was like, never in my wildest dreams that I'll go there to actually enjoy the beach.
And coming from a conservative background, like no.
But we did walk past a few nude beaches over at Sydney when we were doing like treks, right?
We did, but that's good on them. Like they can do it. I can't.
Most of them were older people.
Like they also don't care.
Yeah.
So
like you don't expect to be seeing supermodels sunbathing and there's no way.
Yeah, true. But then like look, they just have to do them. Like do you whatever. But not me. I'm gonna pass on that one. Hard pass.
So what's your tip to people that are listening, if there is any?
Look, if especially I guess for people coming from similar backgrounds or non-English speaking backgrounds, guys, small talks can be a conversation starter. It's actually a good opener as well, like getting to know people at work, your patients, or maybe just getting to know someone. It's really hard not to talk about something, especially if your environment is involved with a lot of people around you. So you really have to engage yourself and try to practice it as often as you can, because you get better at it. Yeah.
So I guess for me is, again, like you need to educate yourself like learn new things. Again, you can listen to current events, like 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You'll learn.
Or listen to our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You learn a lot of things. And then you actually need to look it up. Because if it's something that's not innate to you, you actually need to do your homework and educate yourself about it. And then probably the third one is just be very observant as to how like people converse in your workplace. Yeah, and then just pick up bits and pieces from it and then try to incorporate it to the way you interact with other people. Like, don't use it right away to your colleagues because it's going to be very obvious. But instead, try it to a different set of people. So I guess that's going to be my 3 takeaways from this social skill small conversation.
And hopefully it would benefit you guys.
It is a very essential skill. So as early as you can, try to learn and be good at it at least.
Yeah, and it's especially if you're working here in an English-speaking country, you really have to sell yourself. So please be also like, educate yourself. And I'm sure you'll be fine. Let us know in the comments down below if you try to practice that, if you want to practice with us.
You don't want to be the odd one out at
work.
So.
So please let us know in the comments below if this helps, or if you need some advice, or if you need some guidance. Please let us know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, it's Sheila.
And I'm Ruel.
And this is the
CommoNurse podcast. Till the next one. Bye.
Showing.